All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to unpack the story of Pony Ma. This is a guy who was once straight up mocked as a copycat, but he ended up building a tech empire so powerful that his playbook is basically required reading in Silicon Valley now. Just think about that for a second. The guy building rockets to Mars, Elon Musk, admits he wants to copy your app. I mean, that's insane, right? But here's the crazy part. Not too long ago, the tech world had a very different name for Pony Ma. They called him the Copycat King. So how on earth did he pull that off? How does someone go from being the Copycat King to building a multi-billion-dollar empire like Tencent? We're going to break down his exact strategy. I'm sharing Pony Ma's story in clear professional English so we can all get inspired and level up our vocabulary together. Let's really analyze the mindset of this guy. Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll look at his controversial start as the so-called Copycat King. Then we'll see how a huge crisis actually forced him to innovate. After that, we'll decode his super app blueprint. And finally, we'll pull out the one core lesson that you can actually apply from his journey. Sound good? All right, let's jump in the time machine and head back to 1998. When Pony Ma founded his company, Tencent, he made a really bold move, that would earn him that copycat label that stuck with him for years. So, his first big product was a chat tool called OICQ. And look, let's not beat around the bush here. It was a direct, blatant clone of a popular American software at the time called ICQ. I mean, it wasn't just inspired by it, it was practically identical. Okay, now this is where the story gets really interesting. Because, this blatant copying, it led to a crisis that almost wiped his company off the map. But, and this is the key part, it also forced him to make a brilliant, strategic move that literally changed everything. So check out this timeline. He launches OICQ in '99. By 2000, boom, a massive lawsuit hits and forces him to shut down. He was right on the brink of total failure. But instead of just giving up, he did something smart. He rebranded the software as QQ and made a crucial shift in his thinking, from just copying to actually innovating. See, he realized copying just wasn't a sustainable long-term plan. He had to adapt. So what did he do? First, his team made QQ way smaller and faster, so it could run on the slower computers that were common in China back then. Smart. Then came his first real spark of innovation: personalized avatars. The original software didn't have that. He wasn't just copying anymore. He was localizing. He was improving. And this new mindset, man, it led to his absolute masterstroke. By 2010, the whole world was shifting to smartphones, right? Instead of just sitting back and getting comfortable, Pony Ma pivoted. And he pivoted hard. He got a small team together inside his company and tasked them with building what would become his true legacy, WeChat. And this is the power of a super app. You gotta understand, WeChat wasn't just for messaging friends. No way. It was for paying your groceries, booking a doctor's appointment, calling a taxi. I mean, literally everything. He built a complete digital ecosystem that today is a totally essential part of daily life for over 1 billion people. Think about that scale. And here's the best part, the ultimate irony. Today, the biggest names in tech right here in Silicon Valley, we're talking Meta, we're talking X, they're all trying to copy him. They are all in a race to build their own super app. The copycat had officially become the blueprint. How crazy is that? So what's the big takeaway for you and me in all of this? It's a really powerful philosophy. I call it creative imitation. And honestly, it's a strategy you can start thinking about today. So here's the core idea. Creative imitation isn't just blind copying. It's about studying what's already successful out there, really understanding why it works, and then, and this is the important part, adding your own unique value to serve customers even better. Just look at the difference here. Pure copying, that's super high risk, low value, and it's a short-term game. But creative imitation, well, that's actually lower risk because you already know there's a market for the idea. By adding your own unique value on top, you build a truly sustainable, high-value business. All right, before we wrap this up, let's quickly go over those 5 key business words we used. Getting these into your toolkit is going to make your own professional English way more precise and powerful. Okay, first up was strategic. That's just anything that helps you achieve a long-term plan or goal. Then we had innovation, which is a new idea that improves on what came before it. Next, ecosystem, which is just a complex interconnected system, kind of like an app with tons of services. We also talked about how Pony Ma pivoted. That's when you change your business strategy to adapt to a new market. And finally, sustainable, which just means it's able to keep going over a long period of time without failing. All right, if you want to keep growing your English and your mindset every single day, make sure you hit subscribe and join our community. Let's succeed together. I'll see you in the next one. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What's one successful idea that's already out there in your industry that you could creatively imitate and make a whole lot better?